If you have not heard already, there has been another attempted assassination of Donald Trump, this time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Now, nobody died, and immediately people were calling this a false flag operation, a fake shooting, right? It was all staged to raise Donald Trump's approval ratings. And similar to the Butler shooting, there are just weird stuff that happened that night. I was watching it live. This is all from what I saw watching the broadcast as well as the information that we have. So we heard boom, 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 boom. 5 shots. So 4 to 5 shots. Nobody reacts, by the way. Nobody reacts to this really. Everybody thought that it was just somebody dropping dishes, dropping plates, glass breaking. And so you see that guy turns, Melania turns, Trump turns. I think this is Caroline Leavitt. Now they notice something. Okay, and then you see Secret Service rush in. Notice where the Secret Service goes first. See that guy run past Trump? And he goes to JD Vance. I don't know who was recording this, but watch. Why did they evacuate JD Vance first and not Trump? Look. 5 seconds after they evacuated JD Vance, these armed Secret Service agents rush in and then they go to Trump. And it's only 3 of them. Okay, now Trump is being evacuated. He falls because he's an 80-year-old fucking dinosaur, but is this normal procedure to evacuate the vice president? Because if the president dies or is shot in the hospital, the vice president takes over as president. So maybe they're assuming that it's safe, but we need to evacuate JD Vance this way and Trump this way, and that's why they did it. But again, you notice that Secret Service agent runs past Trump to get to JD Vance. Just that's a little strange to me. Now maybe they were waiting for the armed agents, like the heavily armed agents, to escort Trump out. Weird stuff. It is important to understand that this was not at the White House. This was at a hotel near the White House, if I'm not mistaken. And what everybody is asking, and it's a very reasonable question, of how did a guy with a gun get through security so easily? I don't think he actually got through security like easily, right? He ran through the security. And we aren't actually sure of how deep he actually got into the building. He did not get into the ballroom, so he could not have even shot anybody in that room. He didn't even get there. And then he was taken down. So this is footage from the hotel. He's going to come in from here.
Lieutenant Hudson, you monitoring this there?
So he's sprinting. I don't know who this is, but she was there. She's some reporter, I guess.
How did somebody get a gun into the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Honestly, as somebody who went, there was no security. You just showed your ticket and you were able to completely get in. There was just no pat downs, no metal detectors, nothing going on. So really horrible setup, and I just don't even understand how that was a thing when the United States president was going to speak, who has already had assassination attempts on his life. So really crazy.
What I am surprised is that he got into the building with a gun. You're telling me there were no metal detectors at all? So this is when Trump went backstage after he was evacuated, and he Truth Socialed this. Quite an evening in DC. Secret Service and law enforcement did a fantastic job. They acted quickly and bravely. The shooter has been apprehended, and I have recommended that we let the show go on. Yeah, totally not normal. When a shooting happens, you're not just going to let the event continue. Like if there was a shooting at your local NFL game, they're probably going to cancel the game and reschedule, right? If there's a shooting at your local restaurant, they're going to close for the night and they're going to send all the employees home. Because guess what? That scene is now a crime scene. That scene is not safe. There's evidence everywhere. They should have evacuated the entire building immediately. They should have searched the entire building to make sure there wasn't explosives or planted guns or other shooters. We had no idea if there was a second shooter. And Donald Trump is back here saying, let's let the show go on. What the fuck are you talking about right now? Go home. And so this is what I mean by, like, there's some people that are like under the tables on their knees, and then there's some people that are standing up. There's some people that are just like sitting in their chairs. This is what I mean by when I say I don't think this was like a false flag operation, but it was a weird night where like these people don't even know how to react to a shooting. It's probably because they've never been a part of a shooting before and they don't know really what to do or how to react, which is fair, but I don't know, like, you would think you heard gunshots. Look at these armed Secret Service agents with, I'm assuming, assault rifles, right? Pointing at you, basically. You would think your reaction would be to probably drop to the ground and take some cover, at least until they let you know that it's safe. And so the next weird thing I would say is the fact that nobody left the building. You can go look it up. Everybody at the dinner just like hung out and were talking. Now, obviously people left eventually, but like just not how you would really react to a shooting. And then he has a speech prepared for him. I think that is a little strange. And then he takes questions and like he's just rambling.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? This could be politically motivated.
All violence. I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here. It's a dangerous profession. You know, I tell the story. Race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So if you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take about the same 10% of 1%, much less than 1%. But if you take presidents, it's 5.8%.
Dude, his face. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about right now?
And about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. It's part of the job.
So here's Erica Kirk.
I just want to go find Suzanne.
So we have RFK being evacuated, leaving his wife behind. Yeah, this was fucking crazy too. And this is MAGA men, guys. Like this is MAGA men for you, right? Stephen Miller using his pregnant wife as a human shield. And then if you watch JD Vance get escorted out again. First off, where is his wife? So Trump's deputy chief was trying to do USA chants. This was just cringe.
Hey, USA! USA!
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the?
USA!
I don't think we realize how many, like, liberals were in that room, right? Leftist liberals, because, I mean, if you really want to call, like, CNN and CBS liberal, but you're not at a MAGA rally, buddy. You're not at a MAGA Turning Point USA event. A guest was seen continuing to eat after gunshots rang out at White House Correspondents' Dinner. This guy's just eating his salad. Look at all of these accounts basically posting the same thing, right? Of this is why we need the White House ballroom, right? If you don't know, the White House ballroom is being built, right? Obviously for like events like this, but they're also building basically a security like bunker underneath the ballroom, and it's getting blocked right now by a judge, by a court. And so maybe this all, and this is where the conspiracies come in, of maybe this was all just staged so that It gives them a reason to approve of the ballroom being built and the bunker being built. And this is just another example of that. Like, look at all of these accounts. We need the White House ballroom. I don't want to hear one more fucking criticism of Trump's new ballroom at the White House. Megyn Kelly. Now, tonight is one more reason for the White House ballroom. If only there was a ballroom at the White House. Would be real nice if the White House had its own ballroom. They're all basically saying the same thing, right? And this was like minutes after the shooting happened, right? Everybody in unison, all the MAGA Twitter accounts posting the same thing. We're never addressing the actual problem. We're never addressing the mental illness of a man that thinks that he can run through security and shoot the president. Like, we're not talking about that enough, right? They just go straight to security. They go straight to more guns, mass surveillance, drones, military. That's what they go to, right? They never actually want to address the real problem of mental illness.
At the Washington Hilton Hotel, police say 31-year-old Cole Allen from Torrance, California, stormed the lobby outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Police say he was armed with guns and knives.
So this is the man, apparently a 30-year-old teacher, engineer, and he had a manifesto, and apparently he sent his manifesto to family members the day that this happened, apparently. And here he is.
Charging the ballroom in a chaotic encounter with Secret Service agents. Guests diving under tables while President Trump was rushed off the stage. Allen was tackled and taken into custody. Authorities say minutes before this attack, Cole sent a manifesto to family members laying out a detailed plan to target top Trump administration officials. President Trump responding last night on CNN.
It was just a weird night, guys. It was just a weird event in American history.